गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 11, Chapter 7, text number 31 and 32. So text number 31 श्लोका और ट्रांसलेशन में पढ़ लेता हूँ. श्री भगवान उवाच युधो नैवं महाभागो ब्रह्मण्येन सुमेधसा पृष्ठा सभाजिता प्राह प्रश्रयावनतां द्विजः. Translation by the divine disciples of His Divine Grace Abhecharanaravindha Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna continued, the intelligent king Yadu, always respectful to the Brahmanas, waited with bowed head as the Brahmana. Pleased, as the Brahmana, pleased with the king's attitude, began to reply. So, now text number 32. So, this will recite 3 times. Sri Brahmana Uvacha Shanti me Guravo Rajan Bahavo Buddhi Upasritaha Yato Buddhim Upadaya Mukto Atamiha Tansrino. Sri Brahmana Uvacha Shanti me Guravo Rajan Bahavo Buddhi Upashrita Yato Buddhim Upadaya Mukto Atamiha Tansrino. Sri Brahmana Uvacha Shanti me Guravo Rajan Bahavo Buddhi Upasrita Yato Buddhim Upadaya Mukto Atamiha Tansrino. Sri Brahmana Vacha Shanti me Guravo Rajan Yato Buddhim Upadaya Mukto Atamiha Tansrino. Sri Brahmana Vacha Shanti me Guravo Rajan Bahavo Buddhi Upashrita Yato Buddhim Upadaya Mukto Atamiha Tansrino. So, word to word meaning. Sri Brahmana Uvacha. The Brahmanas said, Shanti, there are, my, Guravaha, spiritual masters, Rajan, O king, Bahava, many, Buddhi, by my intelligence, Upasrita, taken shelter of, Yataha, from whom, Buddhim, intelligence, upadaya, gaining, mukta, liberated, atami, I wander, iha, in this world, tan, them, srinu, please hear. So translation and purport by the divine disciples of His Divine Grace, Abhishana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. The Brahmana said, my dear king, with my intelligence I have taken shelter of many spiritual masters. Having gained transcendental understanding from them, I now wander about the earth in a liberated condition. Please listen as I describe them to you. Purport. The word Buddhi Upasrita in this verse indicates that the Brahmanas' spiritual masters did not directly speak to him. Instead, he learned from them by his intelligence. All living entities who are inimical to Lord Krishna glorify useless material things and spend their lives trying to lord it over the material objects they falsely worship. Thus, the conditioned souls try to increase their duration of life as well as their fame and beauty by means of mundane religiosity, economic development, and gross sense gratification. King Yadu noticed that a saintly Avaduta did not behave like that. Therefore, the king was inquisitive to find out the actual situation of the Brahmana. In reply to the king, the saintly Brahmana states, I do not consider the 24 elements of the physical world as objects of my sense gratification. And therefore, I don't consider accepting or rejecting them. Rather, I accept the material elements as my instructing spiritual masters. Thus, even though wandering throughout the material world, I am never bereft of service to the Guru. Taking shelter of steady intelligence, I travel about the earth, constantly engaging on the constantly engaged on the transcendental platform. By intelligence, I transcend useless desires, and my ultimate goal is the loving devotional service of the Lord. Now I shall explain to you about my 24 spiritual masters. We'll recite Mangalacharan. Umajnanatimirandasya gnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Sri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye नीलाचला निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, seek blessings of all the devotees so that I can try to speak something on this sloka. So here we see that the Brahmana was very pleased with the king. So बहुत प्रसन्न हो गया था राजा से। तो Vedic culture we can see this particular aspect कैसे like ब्राह्मणिकल कल्चर के प्रति, ब्राह्मणस के प्रति और गुरु साधु शास्त्र के प्रति विश्वास और आदर, रेस्पेक्ट, यू नो। सो और ये जो आदर है ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। जैसे हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं कि कैसे अवधूत ब्राह्मणा 24 एलिमेंट्स से 24 चीज़ों से अलग अलग लेसन उन्होंने सीखा था, डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड टू एब्सोल्यूट परम सत्यम से डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड। सो वैसे ही ब्राह्मणा को डायरेक्टली भगवान के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव और वैसे भी हम देखते हैं कि राजा कैसे प्रजा कैसे राजा को नरदेव जैसे देखता था। तो दैट पर्टिकुलर कल्चर, यू नो, सीइंग इन रिलेशन टू गॉड very much there in the Vedic times, and especially we can see like the deep realizations of Brahmana, of seeing all those 24 elements. So और like और एक एक्सट्रीम भी है जहाँ पे like यहाँ पे कमेंट किया गया है कि कैसे living entities who are inimical to Lord Krishna glorify useless material things and they want to lord it over the material objects they falsely worship. So actually in relation to this हम देखते हैं कि कैसे एक बार भगवान नित्यानंद प्रभु वहाँ पे बेनापोल में गए थे। सो वहाँ पे ये रामचंद्र कान डिसरेस्पेक्टफुल था और साक्षात यू नो नित्यानंद प्रभु आया वहाँ पे और उनको तत्व पता नहीं, मतलब हिज अनंत शेष बलराम जी, अनंत शेष आदि गुरु और सारा ब्रह्मांड अनंत शेष के हुड्स के ऊपर मतलब इनफैक्ट अनंत शेष, हर शेष के ऊपर एक हर सर्प का हेड के ऊपर एक ब्रह्मांड वहाँ पे रहते हैं, ब्रह्मांड कैरी करते हैं भगवान नित्यानंद प्रभु। सो ऐसे साक्षात भगवान नित्यानंद प्रभु वहाँ पे जब आया था So उन्होंने identify, he could not identify Ramachandra Khan, and he was disrespectful. और उनका जो और ऑलरेडी उन्होंने अपराध किया था हरदास ठाकुर के प्रति, तो उन्होंने कोई और उनका सर्वेंट को बेच के इनडायरेक्टली डिसरेस्पेक्टफुल कन्वर्सेशन, डिसरेस्पेक्टफुली उनको बोला कि आप लाइक वो शेड, कुछ शेड के अंदर आप स्टे करो ऐसे बोल के बहुत डिसरेस्पेक्टफुली डील किया था. तो नित्यानंद प्रभु जब वो सुना था, उन्होंने देयर वाज अ लाउड लाफ्टर. सो हम देखते हैं कि जब बलराम जी को भी कौरवास डिसरेस्पेक्ट किया था, तो बलराम जी, देयर वाज अ लाउड लाफ्टर ऑफ बलराम जी. And of course, we saw, what happened to the entire, Kurukshetra and the entire, land of Hastinapur was even uprooted from the earth. So, and it was taken in front of the Ganges. So, and then everybody surrendered. So, I say हम देखते हैं कि actually Nityanand Prabhu was very, very dissatisfied because Haridas Thakur was disrespected, and he gave a curse that there will be slaughter of one cow in Durga Mandap, and because of the curse, he gave a curse and he left. And after that curse, what happened is one Yavana Raja, he came to that particular place, and he slaughtered the cow in Durga Mandap, and he tortured the entire Benapol, everybody within the entire Benapol. So, वहाँ पे श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी लिखते हैं कि फॉर वन पर्सन's offense the entire place gets afflicted. It's like a very extreme impact. So it gets afflicted by different variegated ways. So Adi Atmik, Adi Bhautik and Adi Daivik, three different ways. So यहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कि आदि भौतिक मतलब the place got afflicted with sinful people. So the Yavana Raja. So and of course we see the Adi Atmik also, like Kamsa, he offended Devaki Vasudev, and he became Yavana Raja, Chand Kazi. So, there is a sinful mentality. And of course, we saw in the similar aspect in Jarasandha also. Jarasandha, he became Navapasencha. He offended like Krishna so many times. So when there is disrespect to the absolute truth, so the reaction of the offense, that one gets into the place or the person gets affected. So, like the sinful mentality, we can see how the people get degraded into the lower modes, that is mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Like we can see how this so-called present day scenario on the name of trade or whatever it is, there is industrial revolution that has started, and there is the making of films, and then making people rebellious to God, and making them into sinful mentality. And that is how we can see the place also and because of degradation to lower modes, they get degraded into, they start speaking impracticality of Sanatan Dharma, which is, beyond mode of goodness. Because once person degrades, then there will be such, he cannot practice something on a higher level when someone degrades in his consciousness. And that's how, we can see, like the technical term we see, they call it conversions. But actually it is, vertically, it is, the person has already degraded, he has vertically already degraded. And he starts, manifesting it in a gross way. So the point is, we can see even in India also, because today is 26th of January. So the concept of equality, which is spoken by the Constitution, Samvidhan, so it could not be achieved so much. So कितना हमको संविधान से समेकिता मिला है, it is very clearly manifesting now, So previously there may be 3 different kinds of what do you call religions, or 3 or 4 or 5, 6, whatever it is. But now disrespecting, in fact giving up religion altogether and taking to manodharma, sense gratification, people are into so many differences. Everybody has their own mind, their own thought process, and their own concepts of what dharma is, what life is, and everybody starts having differences with everybody else, manodharma. But actually, we should not degrade to manodharma, we should take to parodharma. That is taking to the understanding of how soul is eternal, Atma Sanatan है और परमात्मा सनातन है और आत्मा और परमात्मा के बीच जो relation है वो भी सनातन है. So this knowledge will be getting only from Bhagavad Gita. तो independence आने के बाद इतना deliberately rejecting shastras, it's like deliberately removing everything from the entire concept of Gurukul was deliberately removed. The funding for the Gurukuls was deliberately been stopped. So that particular disrespect we can see, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whose name is there in Padma Purana, there is nowhere mention of his such a great personality in the textbooks. So, and the reaction is Adi Bhautik Klesh in the form of 1961 Kashadayas, 1965, 1971 Yavanas. In fact, of course, there is so many other wars also, and so many terrific attacks. So these are all reactions, and of course we can see even in the like this place where Srila Prabhupada, when he came to Calcutta and he was giving a Pandal program, and he was speaking about the absolute truth. So when the flyers were being thrown, and of course, Uttamadhikari, divine personalities, divine grace, he gave upon the people who threw flyers, and it was like very, very offensive flyers. So, and we can see the reaction at present in the place also, like how it is, there are like so many Yavanas coming, and there are like, so the point is, when the representative of the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when they are been disrespected, so then the place gets afflicted. So, Srila Prabhupada, Pehla Skand, second chapter, 1.2.26, भागवतम श्लोका के ऊपर जब लेक्चर दिया था, आप सुन सकते हैं, 5th minute to 8th minute. So, Srila Prabhupada says that Srila Prabhupada was mentioning about the glory of India, ki, who can be a greater scholar than Vyasdev? Such depth of knowledge, 1 lakh slokas with such depth, and such a great personality we have, Chanakya Pandit, on whose name Chanakyapuri is there, and such powerful values that Chanakya had. Like he was mentioning about how he was using, he uses candle, like 2 different candles he had. So one of the candle he was using, and when someone came for a personal purpose, he put off the candle and he has lit the other candle. So when he has been asked, he was saying that actually this is, I'm using for king's service, and the king has provided, and this is for my personal. That is a value. And in fact, when Chandragupta Maurya, the government of Chandragupta Maurya, when they questioned him for some accounts or something, immediately he resigned. So Srila Prabhupada was appreciating, just see, what a kind of minister he is. So that was the glory of India. And then he was telling about one more personality, Krishna Chandra, in Krishna, on whose, this Krishna Chandra was Raja Krishna Chandra. So he is on his name that Krishnagar was there, like on the way to Mayapur. So he came to one saintly personality, and he said that I'm a king, I'm very much impressed, by your austerities. You can ask, whatever you want, like I'll give you all the provisions, all the facilities. So then he said, actually, I don't need any help. There is this tamarind tree. My disciples, they take the tamarind leaves, and wife cooks, and I take it, and I don't need any help of any king or something. So this was the glory. This was the self-esteem that people had, the Indian culture. So, and Srila Prabhupada was mentioning the point that after many lifetimes, one takes birth in Bharatavarsha, and they have a birthright of association of all these great personalities, Vedavyas, Chanakya. So, and Srila Prabhupada was defining what is violence. So he was telling that when someone has a certain right and he's been checked over, that is called as violence. And here a spirit soul, after many lifetimes of pious activity, takes birth in Bharatavarsha. And after taking birth in Bharatavarsha, and after having a wonderful opportunity to take association of Vyasdev and Chanakya Pandit, the leaders that time, they have forcibly checked the birthright of so many Indians, so many spirit souls. This is violence. What you are speaking of nonsense, non-violence, this is violence. Exact statement, as it is, Prabhupada says this. So, this is, from 5th minute to 8th minute talk. Srila Prabhupada talk. So actually, we can see such amazing definition of equality given in Bhagavad Gita. How we very clearly understand that we are not the body, we are a spirit soul, everybody is a spirit soul, and on that platform of soul, such wonderful equality, um, you know, that such wonderful unity and diversity is possible with God in the center. So that is only possible when there is understanding of soul and super soul. That is the equality. The real equality is possible only with understanding the science of Bhagavad Gita. So rejecting that, like we can say here the statement, all living entities were inimical to Lord Krishna. So you can see that inimicalness in the form of enmity towards the representation, the words of God, like deliberately rejecting those words of God, and one's own manodharma, one's own concept of equality on the name of so-called insecure secularism. I call it insecure because we'll see, why it is insecure. So if you, just take, one small, drama of there is a patient and there is a hospital, and there are doctors within the hospital. So the patient goes to the hospital with all the different facilities, and he gets cured there. So the patient who has a problem of say some boil on the skin, he goes for getting treatment of maybe some appropriate ointment the doctor gives. The patient with some problem in blood, he goes for injection, and a patient with who needs operation or surgery, bypass surgery, he gets treated accordingly. So different departments, different doctors, different medicines. So, and ultimately the patient gets cured and he becomes healthy. But someone starts protesting. There are so many different doctors, so many different medicines, so many different departments. Difference, equality. Everybody should be given same medicine. Whether it is bypass surgery, he should be given ointment. Whether it is injection, he should be given ointment. And whether it is ointment, should also be given ointment. So equality. They start protesting. This one category of person, and then the secularism will clap hands. Very good concept. Everybody will equally die. They'll equally move towards death. This is very good concept of equality. And there is other deceptive category which talks of equality. Like we can see the capitalists, they kept their schooling system, and they say that everybody is equal in the school. And when you can see how there is first rank and second rank, and there are differences there also. And you can see there are degrees also where there are differences, and different grades also within the degrees. And there are different levels of job also, promotions and demotions. So there are differences. They talk of equality, they promise equality, the capitalism, but you see that there is no equality. And they start advertising themselves, that we are going to give equality. So they start creating some allurement of equality, but and you can see how people with no connection to God, no understanding of soul, when they get into all this, so many different department, like, we're seeing so many differences and different departments within the company. Like, there is R&D, there is administrative, there is sales, like different departments, which we find in the company. So seeing all those differences and with no understanding of any equality, any commonality, any equality, people get into, people die actually, with that, what do you call, disease, manodharma. They have, their own concepts. But, they're completely, they're starving within, with that, seeing, so many differences and, so much of, different variegated things, that they come across. They practically go mad actually within the companies. And of course, later on, they start, wanting cure and, they start, looking for spirituality and all that. So, and there are other category where people, on the name of medicine, he's going to doctor and wanting to get cure. And this person, he starts saying, no, I'll give you medicine. And he, on the name of medicine, he gives poison. That is, we can see the bogus gurus. Like, they start saying, they start talking about, equality, but like, because they don't properly practice themselves and they remain on a superficial platform. Like, we can see there are different dharmas, like Hindu, Muslim, Christian. There are 3 different kinds of dharmas. So 7, 8 and 9. So when 7 plus 3, 8 plus 2 and 9 plus 1 happens, then there is 10. There is commonality. But if 7 remains on 7, 8 remains on 8 and 9 remains on 9, there will be differences. So if someone starts saying that, my way is highway, and he starts saying that, this is what the medicine is all about, and then, again, the patient will get into manodharma. I mean, he'll not be completely cured. So, and secularism, will clap hands, for all these people. They encourage all these different kind of people. Because, here are, problems, and here is a ways and means, we can escape, from this different ways and means of deceptive means. We can deceive people and make money from the people. So we can give the reasons of these differences, and we can start making money out of it. So this is what the concept of secularism is all about. So, like with criticizing the differences and different departments and everything. So the healthy condition is whether there are different doctors and different medicines and different departments. So actually, ultimately the patient is getting cured. He is coming to the healthy condition of understanding that he is not the body, he is a spirit soul. वो शरीर नहीं है, आत्मा है, और भगवान परमात्मा है. And with that understanding, one comes to complete health. But promising some equality and killing everybody and equally taking everybody to hell and torturing, that is not the solution. That is what is happening actually. People are practically on the name of constitution, they are so badly prostituted. So, like Prabhupada mentions, like yesterday I was hearing one of the morning walk in Prabhupada's morning walk, 1975 October morning walk, where Srila Prabhupada was mentioning that British, they have used Indians to expand their empire. And once India was lost, they lost the whole empire. And then Srila Prabhupada, this is a morning walk statement. And you see, there is one powerful statement of Srila Prabhupada where he very clearly mentions that India, after independence, it is independently dependent on West. He says that. So, in psychology, there is one particular term called as Stockholm syndrome. What this indicates is falling in love with a kidnapper. This is called as Stockholm syndrome. This is what happened to all the Indians. Indians trusting Britishers. And it is not only before independence, that same state has continued after independence also. That's how we can see all the people, they're going to US, UK, and they're being used for constructing their, to become part of their projects, that become part of the companies, and companies in return become part of the cities. They started constructing cities and cities, engaging Indians. Now also it is happening. Where is the independence? The so-called independence. It's only a concept actually. It is only a it's something like a mental concept. Still, people are being ruled. They're just the same schooling system is there, and the same concept is still running. Being used by the West and becoming part of the capitalists. So ultimately, we can see the destiny of becoming part of such cultures of capitalism. Like in one of the place, everyone might have been aware of it, that where one very offensive statement was being made against God. Against God, it's like a public, it's a TV program, and they made a very offensive statement that God is not creator, something like that. And within few hours, the entire city was affected by Adi Daivik Klesh, the deadly fires. And it was 15,000 homes were being burnt to ashes. So, again, that same science. So, Indians, they start struggling so hard, giving up all their health for some little wealth, what call it, titillating and attractive wealth that was been promised to them, and they go there, and of course later on they lose their wealth to get back the health, and in the process the entire time is gone. So when Indians go there, they actually spend a certain amount of time to get a lot of wealth and all that. But in the process, they settle up there, and they have their family, children, and children grow up and they start growing there. And after growing, they cannot, when the person wants to come back to India, the children cannot come back because they're accustomed to stay there. And this person who is now, before, he was very much a part of company, part of society and all that. Like, his life is going on somehow. But later on, he starts experiencing a lot of loneliness because now job is over and now there is no more, and the children also don't hear them. The American culture, they just, and they cannot come back also, and they cannot leave also. These parents cannot leave them also. They cannot come back and they cannot stay there. It's like they suffer such Adi Atmik Klesh, becoming part of that. And, it's... So, the point is, ultimately, anyone who becomes part of, such disobedience to God, becoming part of the gang that deliberately rejects God and wants to steal the property of God. So ultimately, the person, the people who become part also gets afflicted. So we can see how in Puranjan Upakyan also, which Param Pujya Bhaktijar Swami Maharaj often discusses Puranjan Upakyan. So, Puranjan Upakyan, 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 Puran So actually, when when that Puranjana, he does lot of sense gratification. He is enjoying the his kingdom, and he's just into enjoyment. He just completely rejected connection to Guru Sadhu Shastra. So because of that, what happened is he was attacked by one Yavana, that comes actually. Of course, that is a wonderful analogy which Narad Muni gives, but Srila Prabhupada takes lessons also. Like there is a, the Puranjan Upakyan, the kingdom is actually the body, and there are 9 holes, and a western hole is actually called as Asuri. And there Srila Prabhupada writes that this western countries, there is a lot of Asuric qualities he mentions in that point. So point is, there we can see that this person Puranjan, he got attacked by the Yavana Raja. And the same concept again. So when there is disobedience or disrespect to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, so again, there is attack by the Yavanas. So ultimately, whether it is the situation of India, or we can see how the Britishers, the United Kingdom, they have planned to disrespect Shastras in a very, very intelligent way. Like the Max Muller and the Indologists, they started planning so many things, and they did their things to misguide Indians. Ultimately, now you can see the situation of United Kingdom. There are so many Yavanas, that increased, that they are just unable to do anything now. So it's again, the reaction. So the solution for any kingdom to be happy, to not get afflicted by Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, whether it is to be happy individually or to be happy collectively, is to accept Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and to not disconnect Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So we can see how people disconnect, in our country also, people start talking so much about Bharata Mata, and they start, in fact there is no Bharata Mata, to be frankly speaking. So they start imagining, it's like it is Adhyatmik Klesh, it's like mad person speaking to himself, something like that. He's imagining something and he's, worshipping any damn thing, that is, that he wants to worship. And, he start, without any connection to the, culture's connection to the Vedic, Vedas and, Krishna, they start, madly start talking about, some energies, the country is this, country is that, the very nice this, very nice that. In fact, the nature, which God has created all over the planet, it is very nice. So why talk only of one area? So there is Bhumata who is handling the entire Bhumandala, and everywhere, it is, you can see the description of 5th canto, the Jambudvip, the description, it is so wonderful. So we can also start writing, songs on, all those, different, dvipas, which are mentioned in 5th canto. That is all madness actually. If one should not disconnect the energies from energetic. Actually, 5th canto we can see, like there is so much of description of Jambudvip, and ultimately there is discussion of how there is a worship of Absolute. Like Harivamsha, there is Prahlad Maharaj, worshipping Lord Nrisimha Dev, and like different varshas, all over the Jambudvip, all over the Bhumandal, how there is worship of absolute truth that is happening. Different deities in different places, they have been worshipped. So that connection is very, very important. So which we can see from such great personalities. From Guru Sadhu Shastra, and we can see those in line with Guru Sadhu Shastra like Avadut, Brahmana, such harmony with absolute truth, thoughts are so perfectly harmonious. He's seeing all those 24 elements and he's directly connecting to the absolute truth. So that is wanted. So not that, one completely discriminates energy from energetic and starts, here, you can see all living entities who are inimical to Lord Krishna, they glorify useless material things and spend their lives trying to lord it over the material objects they falsely worship. This is what actually Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur criticized. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, and you can see in Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaibhava, that people actually wanting independence, they are protesting for independence. They are actually mainly the politicians who wanted to get some control of the area. And it is completely, the selfish motivations, like they want to, what you call, exercise their false ego. That is the main purpose of their protesting against. Ultimately, after getting that control and all, it is the same concept of, as Srila Prabhupada very clearly mentioned, independently dependent on West. That same concept, continued. So, whether they're outside, previously they're inside and they're controlling, now they're outside and they're controlling. The same thing. There is nothing much difference, we saw, whether it is before or after. So, from Guru Sadhu Shastra, from the Brahmanas, from the pure representatives of the Absolute, we learn how we have to connect energy to energetic and not disconnect it or, not get into some manodharma and, different other dharmas. So, one has to take to parodharma. So, the real equality comes only with taking to Guru Sadhu Shastra, taking to Bhagavad Gita. So, we'll conclude the talk. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.